It's not very often you're telling the story of a building that's been around for over 100 years. Adding the story is the most important thing. It's no longer the federal government's building. It's Lethbridge's building.
When you read back onto the history of this building, it is that fight for recognition. Are we important enough to the federal government to get a good building, a beautiful building? And while we always focus on the post office here, this was the customs building. This was the immigration building. National Film Board worked out of this building. When they were recruiting for the Air Force, it was through this building. This was the seat of the federal government in Lethbridge for a very long time. And in 1972, when the federal government was considering knocking down the 1914 portion of it, and the reactions of people, right from individual citizens to even city council, who rarely back in the 1970s got involved with trying to preserve historic buildings, it gives a real sense of how valuable this building has always been to the community.
The expectation was to create a vibrant new hub in our downtown with a building as iconic as the post office, a landmark in our downtown, and a beacon to the surrounding community since the early 1900s.
So is this building still a beacon? Absolutely. Any pictures of Lethbridge, this building is always in there somewhere. I would say that the beacon has turned a little bit because it was always taken from the west, looking at the clock tower. Now I would say a lot more of the videos are taken from the east, showing the new front entry. So it's still very much a beacon in my opinion.
It's such a grand building. One of my most proud things is that it can breathe on its own as a result of the design.
We got a call from Kendall and understood his interest in the vision that he had for this property. And things just really kicked off from the first conversation, and we built a really strong relationship, a shared vision, and one that I think really has carried through this whole project.
The initial plan was always just to sell units versus rent units, but not everybody was willing to, say, put up the money for a capital purchase, so we just kind of had to pivot a little bit.
We were able to take per square foot sale rates well past $300 a square foot. We were able to take local lease rates from a $10 per square foot average up above $30 a square foot. But with the new assessed value of the property touching in on $18 million, there's now over $300,000 a year in annual property tax being collected compared to zero only 6 years ago. So heading into the project, office vacancy in downtown Lethbridge was over 18%. Proud to say, 5 years into the project, the building is now entirely full at record sale and lease rates.
This building shows investors, shows people in Lethbridge that you can do something nice with downtown Lethbridge, and it can make sense financially.
We've had people come through the office from Calgary, from Edmonton, from Vancouver that are looking at this property and impressed by it, saying that this is, a big city project here in Lethbridge.
Nobody ever complains about overpaying for something nice, but they'll complain about paying too much for something that is not very nice.
My staff really enjoy coming to work downtown at Post. You need time to decompress, and the times you're being really intense about what you do.
Yeah, to see the project done today has gone far beyond, I think, any of the initial vision. The return on investment has been a building that is stretched all the limits of creativity and what good usable space is in Lethbridge. It's redefined that.
It's very valuable that the connective tissue and sinews, if I can use that kind of language, is the space that kind of brings everyone together at Post.
This building has always had a long history to connecting people to employment. To be connected to that story and that history of getting people working, that comes with a tremendous amount of pride and excitement, and it really is connected to this building as much as it is to the services we provide.
We knew when this project was beginning that this is where we would want to be. Being in the biggest landmark in the city is all part of that brand story. It just matches perfectly.
We're about to launch the project's construction and media launch just as the world was shutting down from COVID-19. And we made the decision to proceed with the project amidst tremendous uncertainty and the majority of active projects at the time being canceled.
For sure, without a doubt, the biggest challenge was, well, COVID. On top of that, because it's a renovation, you never know what you're going to get when you open a wall up. So we built this building without a finished set of drawings.
The existing information is limited at best, so you're always kind of expecting to find something that you didn't expect. And then it's just a matter of trying to deal with it best you can and mitigate the risks associated with it.
I look back to, 5 years ago, it was a downtown that, I'll be very honest, not a lot of people wanted to frequent for many reasons. The change has been dramatic, absolutely dramatic.
This has helped spur that confidence that investment in the downtown is worth it. It was just such a pivotal time for downtown.
And I think that is what this building is going to be. When people look back 100 years from now, it's about that re-envisioning of Lethbridge.
Sumus's vision relates to our motto of inspired real estate. Our mission is to invest in the future of people and place. Is highlighted in the fact that we've taken over 100-year-old building and repurposed it and reimagined it for the next 100 years.